Mel Kiper Jr. is with us. Good morning, Mel. How are we?
Hope everybody's well. It's a Mock 3.0, and I had so many things, guys, that I projected in this Mock 3.0 that I look at, and I could have gone a different route. You second-guess yourself even after you do it, and we can get into that a little bit today if you want.
Well, let's start with the top, because the last mock you had Tua Tagovailoa going 3 to Detroit. Mm-hmm. Now you have Jeff Okudah there, the cornerback out of Ohio State, but you still believe there's a possibility that Detroit might be in the Tua mix.
No doubt. Well, it's for trading out of there, and that's why I didn't want to do that trade. And the reason I didn't, because you don't project a trade, but say I would have just flipped Tua in as I did to Detroit, right? Then I would have had Tua, Miami at 5, Herbert, then Love the Chargers at 6. Well, that can't happen, because if one of those quarterbacks, either Herbert or Love, has to get past 6, okay? Tua is going to go 1, and then Herbert or Love go to the other, then you're out because Miami got 1 and the Chargers got 1. So by putting him at 3 would have made it easy, overly simplistic, and not real. So I tried to keep it as real as I could without projecting that trade, but it would be a great move for Detroit. What did they lose? They lose nothing by going from 3 to 5. They still are guaranteed either Okudah or Isaiah Simmons, outside linebacker from Clemson, by going from 3 to 5. Miami would jump up to get the quarterback Tua if they feel medically he's ready to go. So that's certainly a possibility there. Giants could move down as well and still get a really good offensive tackle if they don't want Okudah or Simmons. So there's different scenarios there, guys, but at 3 and 4, you have to believe a trade could be in play.
Mel, we've seen quarterbacks, even older quarterbacks, landing in different spots now. So with that quarterback merry-go-round starting to have some stops, what has that done to where you think this draft may go?
Oh, it's been a great question. It's my quandary. I don't know what to do, and I talk to people in the league, and they're not giving me any definitive answers. I look at Tampa Bay at 14. Would they take the heir apparent to Brady, or do they take the left tackle Andrew Thomas from Georgia, or a running back like DeAndre Swift, who's the most complete back in this draft, and more complete than any running back on that Tampa Bay roster right now, and help out Tom Brady? What are the Raiders? I thought seriously about giving Jordan Love to the Raiders at 12. They brought in Mariota to compete with Carr. Does that mean you have 2, but you already have 1 that can get you to a Super Bowl? Maybe they do. Do they want to get the corner Henderson from Florida, then get a receiver like Higgins and help out Carr if he gets it done? If he doesn't, then they have Mariota to fall back on. Or do they want to just take Love and feel like, hey, down the road we got a guy who can go toe-to-toe with Mahomes? So I thought about that, guys, with the Raiders picking at 12 and 19. Carolina seems committed to Bridgewater at 7. Jacksonville seems committed to Gardner Minshew at 9, so I couldn't do that. So those were some of the teams that you maybe could have put Love to those teams, felt okay about it, but I dropped them to 23 because I just wasn't sure enough.
Mel, I'm curious. We've had so much conversation of coming off of Todd Gurley being let go by the Rams about running backs and what we do with them in the modern NFL right now. You mentioned DeAndre Swift that you have mocked to the Dolphins in the middle of this first round. I'm curious, as you've talked to people around the league or just studied this yourself, do you still think we're going to see running backs like him going in the first round, knowing what people tend to think now?
I've always said, and Trey and your father know what I say about running backs.
I was about to say, Mel.
Yeah, we know enough about the running back position there to say I wouldn't, but they will. We talked about Jacobs last year. He still was mocked to go where he did. DeAndre Swift's going in the first round. I think he's certainly one of the best, and I have him right now on the big board, guys, at 17. So you can't rate on philosophy, you rate on ability, and DeAndre Swift deserves to be a first-round pick, and I think he will go first. Tampa Bay obviously has to think about him. I think you look down at Miami, think about him, but then find another team that's really desperate for a running back. Good luck trying to do that. Find a team that would make sense for DeAndre Swift. So most teams are very well fortified at that position. Very few teams have it as a major priority. That's why finding a landing spot for DeAndre Swift is very difficult.
Mel Kiper Jr. with us. Mel, I'm glad you brought up Tampa Bay because we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Look, obviously they're set for the foreseeable future for 2 years, but if one of those quarterbacks that you really look, and Bruce Arians is a quarterback guy, we all know this. So you look at the quarterbacks he's worked with. If there's a guy sitting on the board that he believes for the next 5 or 6 years could be a franchise-level quarterback in the NFL, how tempting would it be for him to say, I get we've got Brady, but look what we did last year. If we could just flip the script in those 7 losses where we lost by less than a touchdown and Jameis had 18 interceptions, maybe the best thing for the franchise long-term is to go quarterback there instead of the running back at the tackle.
Yeah, it's a great discussion. It really is because it makes sense. I mean, Tom Brady's going to be 43 in August. Okay, so you think he plays at 43, plays at 44, 45, that's 3 years, but no longer than that, you would think. And how long is he playing at a high level? How much longer? So, yes, if Jordan Love, Utah State or Justin Herbert, Oregon, one of those two guys is going to be there, more than likely, if the Raiders pass at 12. And I really think the Raiders are even more intriguing than Tampa because they're picking ahead, a couple picks ahead of Tampa. But if he's there at Tampa, it gets down to, do you take that quarterback who could be the heir apparent or would be the heir apparent to Brady, or do you help Brady by getting a complete running back in Swift and a left tackle in Andrew Thomas from Georgia? That's got to be part of the discussion there. And for the Raiders as well, if you're in a division with Mahomes, I know people have kind of exaggerated Love a little bit and compared him to Mahomes. If you want to go that route, then you better be able to beat the Chiefs. And if you think Love can be the next Mahomes and you're the Raiders, and Mayock and Gruden believe that, at 12, you got to consider him, right? So that's why I almost went that route and gave Jordan Love to the Raiders, knowing they got another pick coming up at 19.
What players and or positions in your mind, and not necessarily just the first round, have been hurt the most by not being able to have pro days or visits from teams?
I think some of the receivers, Golic, I think you look at a guy like K.J. Hamler, Penn State, who needed to catch the ball consistently at the pro day and didn't do it at the combine. We know he's fast. We know he's great in space, but I think people are going to wonder about the drops and can he eliminate that at the pro level? He's probably a second-round pick there. I think a guy that really benefited from having a great combine and a great Senior Bowl week is Denzel Mims, wide receiver from Baylor. To be almost in the clubhouse is a pretty good thing considering there's no pro days. So I think a guy that's in the clubhouse with a great final year in the draft process really served him well was, like I say, Denzel Mims, wide receiver Baylor, arrived going right now at 22 to Minnesota.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.